Have you ever looked around at your life and felt like everything was spinning in different directions with no control at all? You wake up already tired, your plans feel scattered, your dreams look unclear, and it seems like you're just trying to make it through another day. You keep promising yourself that you'll get organized soon, but that soon never actually comes. The bills stack up, chances slip through your fingers, and your peace slowly fades without you noticing. You want change so badly, but something inside you keeps waiting for a perfect moment, a moment that never really shows up. I've felt that place before. I've known that quiet frustration where you're aware you can do more, but your life feels stuck in confusion and disorder. And one day, I learned something that shook me deeply. My life wasn't breaking apart. It was simply unorganized, and that realization changed everything for me. Chaos doesn't always come from some big outside attack. Many times it's just the result of small things we ignored along the way. It's what happens when we allow life to take the lead instead of us taking charge of our own days. And no matter how gifted, talented, or spiritually strong you are, if your life lacks order, your purpose stays buried underneath the mess. Let's look at this from a spiritual angle. The scripture in 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." If confusion seems to rule your life, then it didn't come from God. He created you for clarity, for steadiness, for direction. That is His nature. And because you were created in His image, order is meant to be a normal part of your lifestyle. But here's the difficult part. Order doesn't appear because you wish for it. It doesn't suddenly fall into place when you feel motivated. You have to push yourself to bring organization into your world. You have to push through excuses, push through comfort, push through old habits, and finally declare that your life deserves proper structure. Because until the moment you decide you're serious about arranging your life, you will keep living beneath your true potential. When you begin to organize your time, your surroundings, your habits, your priorities, powerful things begin to shift. Panic gets replaced by peace. Frustration gives way to focus. Confusion becomes confidence. You no longer react to life. Now you lead it. You start realizing that every blessing you're praying for actually needs structure to stay in your life. God doesn't pour new wine into old wineskins. He doesn't release the next level until you've created room to carry it. And hear me clearly. Organizing your life isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared. It's about becoming someone who can handle success, not just dream about it. Opportunities don't pause and wait for someone who isn't ready. They respond to structure, discipline, and readiness. So if your life feels like it's falling apart in pieces, maybe it's not a punishment. Maybe it's an invitation to rise up, to reset, to realign your world with purpose and intention. God wants you to bring order into every area, your thoughts, your habits, your relationships, your goals, your finances, because where there is order, His peace rests. And wherever His peace rests, progress begins. So today I challenge you to stop waiting for inspiration and force yourself to organize your life. Clear the clutter, make the schedule, structure your day. Because when you do these things, you begin to see something powerful. Order is not just a habit, it is a spiritual principle. It is the ground on which destiny grows. When your life is unorganized, you don't only lose time, you lose peace. You don't only misplace objects, you misplace purpose. Each unorganized day quietly drains your strength, your focus, and your hope. And disorganization doesn't scream loudly as it enters your life. It sneaks in quietly. It begins with something small, a task you didn't finish, an appointment you ignored, a plan you avoided, until suddenly you wake up one morning and feel like your entire life is pushing you around instead of you guiding it. Have you ever noticed how stress multiplies when there's no structure? You wake up anxious because you don't know where to begin. You go to bed disappointed because you didn't finish what actually mattered. You're always busy but never truly making progress. That is not how God intended you to live. The same verse, 1 Corinthians 14:33, reminds you that God creates peace, not confusion. So wherever confusion grows, peace disappears. And when peace disappears, progress becomes impossible. God created the entire universe in perfect order. Light separated from darkness, water separated from land, day separated from night. Everything was placed exactly where it needed to be. And if the Creator Himself works through order, how much more should we reflect that same order in our own lives? Organization isn't just about fixing your schedule, it's about aligning your life with divine design. Picture someone managing work, home, faith, and personal growth all at the same time. They're trying to help everyone, do everything, be everywhere, and stay strong. But inside, they feel like they're drowning. Their mind is overwhelmed, their priorities are scattered, and even their prayer time feels rushed and shallow. They aren't lazy, they're simply unorganized. And because of that, the things that once brought them joy now feel heavy. Disorganization steals clarity. It makes you feel buried under everything while accomplishing almost nothing. You start confusing activity with actual progress. You begin living just to survive instead of living to grow. But when you take even small steps toward organizing your life, something deep within you begins to shift. You start realizing that peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of order. Organization is not just a practical skill, it is an act of spiritual obedience. When you manage your time well, you honor the time God gave you. When you handle your finances wisely, you show appreciation for His provision. When you plan your day with intention, you show that your purpose matters. That is why organization is not optional for people who want to live meaningfully. It is essential. Many people pray for more blessings, more opportunities, and more open doors, but they haven't built the structure needed to hold those blessings. They want more from God, but aren't managing what they already have. Divine increase always follows divine order. Before God multiplies, He organizes. Before He promotes, He prepares. Many things we call delays are simply God waiting for us to get organized enough to manage the next level. Think about it. How can God trust you with greater things when you're still losing track of the little things already in your hands? Organization tells heaven, I'm ready. It shows maturity, responsibility, and a heart prepared for growth. And when your life is organized, your mind settles, your faith becomes sharper, and your inner strength grows. So if you want real peace, real progress, and real power, start by bringing order into your world. Clear your space, strengthen your spiritual habits, plan your day, align your priorities. Because organizing your life isn't just cleaning your environment, it's reshaping your mind. When your life has structure, you don't chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to chase you. And never forget this: God can work powerfully in a life that is set in order. Your next chapter depends on how you handle this one. Discipline today builds destiny tomorrow. So push yourself to organize your life, not because it's simple, but because your future depends on it. Every orderly life begins with one thing: self-discipline. You cannot organize your world without first learning to organize yourself. Self-discipline is the quiet builder behind every strong and successful life. It is doing what needs to be done, even on the days you have no desire to do it. It is waking up when the alarm rings, not because you felt motivated, but because you made a commitment to yourself. It is choosing focus over feelings, structure over chaos, consistency over convenience. Many people want God to transform their lives, yet they overlook the truth that God often works through discipline. You cannot pray yourself into a kind of life you refuse to structure. You cannot desire excellence but continue to live in disorder. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the training field where character is strengthened and long-term success is built. And let's be honest, discipline is not always comfortable. It stretches you, challenges you, and pushes you beyond your comfort zone. But every bit of real growth hides behind discomfort. Every time you choose discipline instead of distraction, you build inner strength. Every time you plan instead of procrastinate, you shape your future. Every small disciplined decision becomes a quiet seed planted for tomorrow's success, compounds into a lifestyle that wins respect and brings results. Think about your time. How many hours slip away every day because of poor planning? How much energy is wasted fixing problems that could have been avoided with a little organization? Discipline gives you authority over your time. It helps you say no to things that don't serve your purpose and yes to things that move you forward. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. Now take a moment and reflect. Where have you been short on discipline? Maybe it's managing your time, maybe it's handling money, maybe it's staying consistent with prayer, study, or personal growth. Whatever it is, remember this: becoming disciplined in one area strengthens you in many others. The moment you build discipline, your focus sharpens, your energy multiplies, and your results begin to match your prayers. Let's be practical. Discipline asks you to prioritize tasks, build routines, and set clear boundaries. Prioritizing means you concentrate on what truly matters, not what screams the loudest, but what is most important. Creating routines means you stop depending on feelings and start relying on systems, because systems keep success steady. Setting boundaries means protecting your time and energy from everything that pulls you off course. You cannot say yes to everything and still be organized. Sometimes the most disciplined act is saying no. When you grow in discipline, life lightens. You stop chasing motivation because discipline creates momentum. You stop reacting to circumstances because discipline gives you rhythm. It brings steadiness, confidence, and peace. You no longer wake up unsure of what to do next. Your day has direction because your mind has order. Every great leader, thinker, and purpose-driven person learned discipline before they found lasting success. Self-discipline is more than a skill. It is a spiritual principle. It honors God when you manage your life well. It says, "Lord, I value what you gave me enough to care for it." That's why discipline must be daily. It's not a switch to flip now and then. It's a muscle to train every day. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens that muscle. Every morning you follow through with your plans. You teach your mind who is in charge. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. So if you want an organized life, start by mastering yourself. Your surroundings cannot be in order if your inner world is chaotic. The outer mess often reflects an undisciplined mind. But when your inner life is structured, your outer world will follow. Discipline creates harmony, and harmony produces momentum. Today, choose a disciplined decision, not an emotional one. Decide to take charge of your time, habits, energy, and thoughts. When you master self-discipline, you master life. When you master life, you become unstoppable. Now let's look at clutter and how to remove it. No matter how disciplined you are, if your life is full of clutter, you will never know real peace or progress. Clutter is more than physical mess. It is the chaos that quietly fills your mind and spirit. It is the weight that slows you down without you noticing. Until you face it, it will keep you stuck in cycles of frustration, procrastination, and confusion. Clutter appears in many forms: physical, emotional, and spiritual. Start with the physical. You can't have mental clarity if your space is always messy. Your surroundings mirror your inner state. When your room, workspace, or home is piled with unfinished tasks, unorganized items, or things you no longer need, it drains your energy. You feel overwhelmed without knowing why. Clutter shouts quietly. It tells your mind there is more to do even when you try to rest. But when you clear your physical space, you create room for focus, creativity, and calm. Then there is emotional clutter, the kind that hides behind a smile. This includes old hurts, regrets, unforgiveness, and unresolved feelings. It's the quiet resentment you carry, the guilt you never released, the disappointment you replay on repeat. Emotional clutter makes you heavy. No matter how tidy your schedule, you will feel stuck if your heart is full of pain. You cannot step into new seasons while holding on to old wounds. Finally, spiritual clutter is perhaps the most dangerous. This is the noise that keeps you from hearing God clearly. Constant scrolling on social media, endless comparison, and distractions that steal your quiet time. You tell yourself you're too busy to pray, too tired to read, too distracted to focus, and that is where your strength drains away. Not because you don't love God, but because your spirit is crowded with things that don't matter. The Bible gives us a clear remedy. Cast your cares on Him because He cares for you. You were never meant to carry all that clutter, not the emotional weight, not the spiritual noise, not the physical chaos. God's plan is for you to release it. When you cast your cares on Him, you declare, "Lord, I refuse to live heavy. I refuse to stay distracted. I choose peace." Picture a young professional with potential but unable to move forward. Every morning they wake to a messy room, a chaotic inbox, unpaid bills, and a mind full of worry. They spend hours scrolling, comparing, and losing focus. They want growth and breakthrough, but their life is cluttered with distractions, debt, and unresolved conflict. They pray for change, but the first step to breakthrough is decluttering. Clutter in any form blocks clarity, and clarity is the foundation of direction. You cannot see your path if your mind is cluttered with too many open tabs. Sometimes the miracle you wait for is behind the mess you refuse to clear. God cannot fill what is already full. If you want Him to move, make room. How do you start? Start small. One space, one habit, one emotion at a time. Make a decluttering plan. Ask yourself, what no longer serves me? What habits steal my time? What relationships drain my energy? What thoughts keep replaying that I need to surrender? Be honest. Transformation begins when you stop pretending things are fine and start confronting what is not. Decluttering is not about losing things. It's about finding yourself again. It is about making space for peace, purpose, and divine direction. The less clutter you carry, the more clearly you will hear God's voice, the more freely you will move, and the more powerfully you will grow. Each area you clear becomes an open door for new opportunities. If you feel stuck, look around and look within. Clean the physical mess, release the emotional weight, and quiet the spiritual noise. Peace does not come from having more, it comes from needing less. Moving on to goals and priorities. Being organized is not enough. You must know what you are organizing your life for. Order without direction leads to frustration. Many people are busy but not productive, active but not effective, moving but not progressing. They run every day without knowing where they are going. One of modern life's greatest losses. People often mistake movement for progress. Have you met someone who works endlessly yet feels empty? It's not lack of effort, it's lack of clarity. Hard work means little when it's not aligned with purpose. Organization gives structure, but goals give direction. Without goals, you chase everything and achieve nothing. Goal setting is not merely a productivity tip, it's a spiritual discipline. Scripture gives us this truth in Habakkuk 2:2-3. Write the vision and make it plain so the one who reads may run with it. Clarity comes before movement. You must write the vision before you can run. Too many try to run without writing. They want results without direction, success without structure, and purpose without planning. Let's be practical. There is a major difference between urgent and important. Urgent things demand attention, but important things build your destiny. Answering messages may be urgent, but growing your purpose is important. Attending every meeting may seem urgent, but nurturing your relationship with God is important. Most people live reacting to urgent tasks while ignoring what truly matters. That's why they stay busy but broke, tired but unfulfilled, active but empty. Imagine two people. The first jumps into work, answers every notification, says yes to every request, and ends the day drained and unproductive because their energy is scattered. The second wakes intentionally. They pray, they plan, they prioritize, and they know what matters most. Their schedule reflects their purpose. They don't just move through the day, they lead the day. Which one are you becoming? Here is the fact. If you fail to prioritize, life will prioritize for you, and it will always choose what's urgent over what's important. Decide what deserves your energy, time, and attention. God's purpose for you cannot grow in confusion. It needs clarity, commitment, and intention. That is why goal setting is essential. When your goals align with God's calling, you are not only planning, you are partnering with heaven. Your goals become a roadmap for destiny. They keep you focused when distractions try to pull you off course. They remind you of who you are and who you are becoming. You can't control them. The power of focus starts with clarity. So I challenge you, write down 3 main life priorities that match your purpose and God's will for you. It might be deepening your walk with Him, growing your gifts, or healing relationships. Whatever they are, make them specific, measurable, and rooted in your divine calling. When your priorities are clear, deciding becomes simpler. You won't waste time on distractions because you know what deserves your focus. You won't compare your journey to others because you understand your own assignment. And you stop chasing everything that only looks good because you're fixed on what is truly good, what aligns with your purpose. Remember, success is not how much you do, it's how much of what you do truly matters. Organization without direction is like a ship without a compass. But when your goals are clear, your steps become intentional, your energy becomes focused, and your progress becomes unstoppable. So today, choose that path. Don't just live, lead your life. Don't just move with purpose. Don't just work toward what God has placed in your heart. Write your vision, make it plain, then run toward it with passion, discipline, and faith. Because when you set clear goals that match His will, you won't just be busy, you'll be becoming. You see, time is the most precious currency you will ever own. You can lose money and earn it back, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. Every minute wasted is a piece of your destiny slipping through your fingers. Yet many treat time casually as if it will always be there. But when you begin to see that time is not only a resource, it's a responsibility, everything about how you live starts to shift. Time is not only something to manage, it's something to honor. Using your time wisely is a high form of worship because it shows you respect the life and purpose God gave you. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 3:1-8 that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. That means every purpose has a time slot and every destiny has a schedule. If you serve your time poorly, if you miss the timing, you can delay the manifestation. Think about that. God arranged your life in seasons, moments of planting, moments of growing, moments of harvesting. But if you are out of rhythm with time, you'll end up doing the right thing at the wrong time or the wrong thing at the right time. Both are costly. That's why time management is not only about productivity, it's about spiritual alignment. It's about moving in step with heaven's timing for your life. Now let's make this practical. Time stewardship begins with intentionality. You can't drift through the day hoping to be productive. You must plan your day on purpose. Simple tools like scheduling tasks, using time blocks, and delegating duties can transform your life. Scheduling gives every hour an assignment. Time blocking forces you to focus on one task at a time without distraction. Delegation teaches you to release control and trust others to help share the load. Here's the truth. Some of you are worn out not because you have too much to do, but because you're trying to do everything yourself. You cannot grow if you won't let go. Time management requires humility. The humility to say, I can't do it all, but I can do what matters most. Imagine a busy parent, an entrepreneur, or a student, constantly running, constantly rushed, constantly overwhelmed. They juggle work, family, church, and personal goals, yet every day ends with the same thought, I didn't have enough time. But the problem isn't the amount of time. We all get the same 24 hours. The issue is how we handle it, because unmanaged time always brings unnecessary stress. When you learn to steward time well, you take back control of your life. You start your day with intention instead of panic. You know when to work and when to rest. You know when to say yes and when to say no. And that matters because every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. Time management is really decision management. It's having the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. I want you to reflect deeply. Where are you wasting time every day? Is it endless scrolling on social media? Is it spending hours worrying about things beyond your control? Is it overcommitting to activities that don't match your calling? Every wasted moment accumulates, and over time it costs you opportunities, growth, and peace. So today, pick one area, just one, and take control of it. If you can reclaim one area of lost time, you can reclaim your focus, your energy, and your momentum. Remember this, time is sacred because it's the stage on which purpose is fulfilled. Every dream you have, every goal you want to reach, every impact you're meant to make, it all depends on how you use your time. That's why the enemy doesn't always need to destroy you. He only needs to distract you. If he steals your focus, he wastes your time. If he wastes your time, he delays your destiny. So today I encourage you to treat time as a gift from God, not a guarantee. Plan your day prayerfully. Guard your time fiercely. Spend it wisely. Because when you steward your time well, you're not simply organized, you're honoring the giver of time. When you align your hours with your purpose, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop chasing the clock and start mastering it. And once you master time, you begin to master life. Now let's be honest, it's easy to stay focused when everything goes well. It's easy to stay disciplined when life is smooth, doors open, and momentum favors you. But the true test of discipline shows up in hard seasons. Consistency is not built in comfort, it's built in challenge. Every person you admire didn't get there because life was easy. They arrived because they learned to keep going when things got hard. The path to purpose is not always lined with applause. Sometimes it's paved with resistance, silence, and doubt. Yet those who win are those who refuse to stop. The reality is, you will face obstacles. Procrastination whispers, "Do it tomorrow." Fear shouts, "You're not ready." Distractions tempt you with comfort, and negative voices try to convince you you're wasting your time. But remember, you are not fighting alone. The same God who gave you the vision will give you the strength to see it through. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." That is not mere motivation, it's a declaration of empowerment. It means even when you feel weak, even when you want to quit, there's a supernatural strength inside you that refuses to give up. Every time you get back up, every time you try again, every time you push through, that is Christ's strength in you showing up. Understand this. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means persistence. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means praying when you're tired. It means believing even without visible results. Anyone can start. Only discipline can finish. Consistency turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Think of someone who faced rejection after rejection, an entrepreneur who started with nothing, a teacher who poured into students with little thanks, an artist who kept creating when no one noticed. They didn't quit because of obstacles. They treated obstacles as training ground. Every failure sharpened their resilience. Every setback deepened their resolve. Eventually, their persistence opened doors that talent alone could not. You must realize success is not about speed. It's about stamina. It's not how fast you begin, but how long you can endure. Life will test your consistency with disappointments, delays, and discouragements. But when you keep moving in faith, you become unstoppable. Here's something practical. To stay consistent, you need daily systems that anchor you. Start your day with prayer that aligns your spirit. Reflect often. That keeps you aware of what matters. Build routines that protect your focus. That keeps you productive. And cultivate resilience that keeps you going when everything inside wants to stop. Ask yourself, what usually breaks my consistency? Is it fear, comfort, distraction? Identify it, because you can't beat what you don't define. Once you recognize the obstacle, you can manage it instead of letting it manage you. And when you keep showing up, something powerful occurs. Heaven begins to respond to your faithfulness. Breakthroughs start to follow your persistence. Doors open for those who won't quit because God rewards faithfulness, not flakiness. You may stumble, slow down, or even fall. But if you refuse to stop, you win. Each time you push through an obstacle, you don't just get closer to your goal. You become stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. You become the person who can sustain the blessing when it arrives. So stay consistent. Don't let procrastination steal your time. Don't let fear silence your calling. Don't let distractions pull you off course. And don't let negative voices make you forget who you are, because the God who called you has already equipped you. All you must do is keep moving.